Hi, my name is Greg Johnson. I'm the director of ResourcesForLife.com and also a facilitator of the Small House Society, also found on the ResourcesForLife.com website. And this is a special video, news, press release, announcement, whatever you want to call it, in response to the overwhelming number of visitors that we've had to our website over the past few days. There have been more than 30,000 people coming to the site and looking for more information, and many of those people have telephoned or sent an email, and they have more questions than information that they're able to find on the net. So, and that number, 30,000 people that have been to our site, represents just a small fraction of the people out there who have been going to other websites in response to a lead story that showed up on the Yahoo.com website. It was a video featuring Jay Schaefer, who's the proprietor of TumbleweedHouses.com, the Tumbleweed Tiny House Company. And in fact, part of the reason we were getting a lot of emails and phone calls is because there was such an overwhelming response that the TumbleweedHouses.com site was actually just knocked out of commission for several hours over the past couple of days. So some of you who've been trying to get information just haven't been able to. But that's just to give you an idea of the overwhelming response. It's caused websites to be unavailable. Okay, so anyway, you know, computers give us some amazing capabilities, but sometimes I think they can make our lives less personal. And when I saw that there had been 30,000 visitors to the website, to our website, resourcesforlife.com, over the past few days, and so many phone calls and emails coming in that were really more than humanly possible to respond to, I wanted to put together kind of a more personalized message from me as a video, just to at least answer some of those questions. So I'm going to read through these real quick. Ryan is writing and asking, and these are questions that other people are going to have, so I thought I'd bundle it in a Q&A video like this. So Ryan is asking, how do people find a place to park their house? My dream has always been to live in a forest setting, and how do I go about finding a place? So many people are wondering, where can I put a tiny house? And how do I find out about that? Increasingly, of course, it depends on what state you're in and what city you're in, but increasingly, people are finding a suitable location for these tiny homes, and they're finding that they can put these in people's yards or in property that's at least zoned in a way that can accommodate an additional structure. So you do need to check with local laws, but these little homes are popping up more and more in people's backyards. And so maybe there's an arrangement that you make with a friend or a neighbor or an acquaintance. Maybe you pay them $100 a month or $200 or whatever, depending on the amenities and facilities that you're using. But that's the most likely immediate answer to what you're asking. Some people will even buy a home and rent the home out. The rent that's received every month is more than enough to cover the mortgage, so you can put a tiny house in the backyard and thereby basically get a house for free and build equity. So that's an option. Okay, Don is saying, I own some property in Minnesota. I'd like to know how much is your home selling for? I have a home for sale. It's called the Mobile Hermitage. You can learn more about it by going to resourcesforlife.com. On the main page, you'll see a link to Mobile Hermitage, or you can just do /mobile-hermitage. But you can read more about the house there. I'm hoping to sell it for about $20,000. It was actually appraised at $30,000, and a lot of effort went into the home. It's been in the media over the last 6 or 7 years. The Oprah Winfrey Show was interested in featuring it on their show. It's been in Better Homes and Gardens, so it has a lot of intrinsic value, I guess you'd say, but as well, just the cost and the materials and the labor that went into it were pretty significant. So anyway, you can read more about it if you're interested. As I say, it's about $20,000. It's here in the Iowa City area, so if somebody wants to come look at it or interested in buying it, just let me know. You can contact me through the resourcesforlife.com website by just clicking on the contact link. So that's enough about my little house for sale. But the next question from Jenny, and she's saying, oh, what about having the Mobile Hermitage at an event? This does come up a lot. People would like to have my little house at special events, expos, sustainability fairs, that type of thing, because it's well known and it's been in the news in China, in Ireland, Australia, all over the U.S., Canada, and so it's a popular little house, and people would like to have it at events. I was living in it for 6 years, so I was not inclined to have it transported around the country. But at present, because it's for sale or maybe available for rent, if somebody's interested in having it at an event, you'd need to probably chip in for the transportation costs and maybe a little more for upkeep if it's going to be rented out for events. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I can't really, with my schedule and the current budget the way it is, I can't really afford to just be providing that for free. So I need to be compensated a little bit for that. I work full-time as a consultant, and so when I take time away from my consulting, I need to have some sort of compensation in some way for that. So anyway, Emily, how much do tiny houses cost? What's the price range? How do we go about purchasing one? Well, the homes vary in price considerably, and of course it depends on what materials you use, right? So if you're using really high-grade materials, which is basically what was used to construct my home, then the home could cost $15,000, $18,000 just in materials. And so that's if you're using hardwoods. If you are purchasing a brand new trailer, a very nice high quality trailer to put the house on, and residential or commercial grade windows. So for a home like that, it could cost as much as $30,000, $25,000. And for a slightly larger home, mine is 10 by 7. For a slightly larger home, you might spend $40,000 or $50,000, but that's a lot less than $200,000, $300,000, which is what many people are trying to live in these days for 2,000, 2,400 square foot home, that type of thing. So anyway, that's a little bit about the price. Obviously, the quality of materials you use, that's going to change the price. You can basically figure $150, $200 per square foot, and the reason these homes are so much less expensive is just because they're smaller, right? So there are fewer materials that go into them. A lot of people choose to use quality materials, much better quality than you'd have in a standard home, and thereby, the cost per square foot goes up a little bit. And keep in mind, it's material dense. And what I mean by that is, in a small space, you have a lot of stuff. Whereas in a large home, a lot of that square footage is just empty open air, like a big living room. You don't have a lot of materials there except for the four walls, right? So the cost per square foot seems a little higher for small houses, but the overall cost is lower. So I hope that answers. Oh, and how to go about purchasing one. On the Resources for Life website, if you go to Small House Society, or if you just go to smallhousesociety.org, we have a page that lists all of the different small home designers and builders. And keep in mind, some people just design the homes and then they will sell you the plans, and then wherever you are, you can find a builder and use locally sourced materials or even reuse materials. There are some places you can get used materials to build a house with. So that's one option, just to consult with somebody who's a designer. And then the other option would be buy a small home. It's a little expensive to have them delivered, so from the smallhousesociety.org page, you can go to Designers and Builders and find a builder in your area who builds small homes, and that would be an option for you. Alternatively, you can just find a regular contractor, somebody who would normally build a full-size house, and show them the plans for the tiny house, and if they laugh, maybe you need to find another builder, but find somebody who's amiable to building a tiny house. And there's really not that much into building small houses other than it's just a small space. People who do this for a living, like Jay Schaefer and others, they're skilled at it and they know how to build well for small spaces, so you would gain something by going that route. And so another person asks about, where do I get a house? So it's just go to smallhousesociety.org, check out the list of designers and builders, and that'll take you to a variety of sources. Someone else was suggesting, what about building a small house community? Well, that is already being done in a number of places around the country. It's a great idea. It's a great way for people to build smaller because you're sharing some resources that would otherwise have to fit under one roof, right? So anyway, you can also find that if you go to smallhousesociety.org, click on resources, and then click on communities, and you can read about that. So thank you so much to everybody who's been writing and calling. I will post more answers as questions come in. Take care.